This is Richard with PROPO, D-Force Aviation, and this is the first in a series of videos designed to help the viewer program their new JR Elite or Matrix transmitter for use with an electric-powered RC helicopter. These videos assume that the user is already familiar with RC helicopters and has a basic knowledge of the functions that we're going to discuss: flight modes, dual rates, expo, gyro gain, throttle and pitch curves, throttle hold, trim input switches, etc. For actual helicopter setup, please refer to my videos demonstrating how to set up the JR Tags Mini 3-axis gyro unit with the JR T44 transmitter. Note that different flybarless units may require different setup methodologies, and always follow the setup instructions from the manufacturer of the unit that you're using. The link to the helicopter setup videos is posted below. The Elite and Matrix transmitters are very similar, and the programming methodology is identical. These videos will include basic radio setup, including mapping of the rates, expo settings, throttle and pitch curves, and gyro gains to the flight mode switch. They will also include setting up the gyro gains for all 3 axes to be controlled by the trim tabs from each axis in flight. Note this will only work for 3-axis gyros, which allow the gains for each axis to be controlled separately by individual channels. This feature should only be used in flight by experienced RC helicopter pilots. These videos also include programming the transmitter to allow the raising or lowering of the throttle curves for each flight mode while in flight. Thank you, Nigel Higgs. Again, this feature should only be used by experienced RC helicopter pilots. Safety is a primary concern. The programming of the radio, as we're going to show in these videos, is to be done with only the transmitter on. The model should not be powered up, and the motor should not be connected. The only exception to this would be the confirmation that throttle hold's working and the confirmation that failsafe is working, which we'll look at in another video. This first video will include basic model type selection and naming, swashplate type assignment, and the channel assignment for the gyro gains. Before beginning, we're going to move switch K, which is this top one, toward the front of the transmitter on the right, to its full aft position, toward the back of the transmitter. This will prevent an alarm from sounding at the end of the initial model type and model naming procedure. Okay, we're going to start by turning the transmitter on and allowing it to fully boot up. This is going to take about 30 seconds. Okay, now that we're fully booted up, we're going to touch the model select icon in the upper left corner of the screen. Now we see a smaller window in the center which says signal check. In the middle it says RF will be cut off, confirm. We're going to hit yes to confirm. Okay, we're now in the model select screen. At the lower right corner there's a button labeled new. Touch that button. Again, we have a small window in the center. This says new model. Creating a new model. This is to confirm that you want to set up a new model. We're going to press yes. In this screen, we see 3 different types of models. We're going to touch the button with the helicopter icon. Okay, now we're once again in the model select screen. First thing we're going to do is give the new model a name. So if we look at the upper left, we see model select, model number 27, that's the new model, type helicopter. We're going to touch in this box. A new screen has appeared that has a blank area at the top and a QWERTY keyboard at the bottom. By touching the up arrow at the lower left, you can change the letters to capitals. Below that is a question mark 1, 2, 3 that will allow you to add punctuation and numbers to the model name if desired. We're going to touch the appropriate characters to name the model. In this case, we're going to name it Elite Heli 1. So up arrow for caps, okay, now that we've named our model, we're going to hit the Done button on the right, and we're back in the Model Select screen. You can see now that Model 27 is named Heli Elite 1. You can change the model's name at any time by selecting that model and touching this box here and returning to the keyboard. We're going to press the back button on the face of the transmitter to return to the home screen. The next thing we're going to do is select the swash plate type. So from the home screen, we're going to touch the menu button in the lower right-hand corner. Now we're technically in the function menu. You can see function is highlighted here, and below that are some, but not all, the selections for the function menu. We're going to touch the system button here. Now we're in the system menu, and we're going to touch swash plate type in the top row in the center. Now, most flybarless units are going to use the normal type of swash plate. You'll see this with V-bar, B-Stex, and a number of others. We're going to use a different type of flybarless unit, such as the JR Tags Mini. We need to select a different swash plate type. In this menu, we can see some of the different swash plate types available. The Tags Mini would use a 3-servo type swash plate, and note that we have different geometries available. With the elevator servo being fore or aft, and also with 120 degree, 135, or 140s to select from. We're going to go back to normal because this is probably what most people will be using. We're going to hit the back button, and this is going to take us from the swash type menu back to the system menu. In most cases, we're going to use the channel 5 for the rudder channel gain. That's pretty much standard. I've seen a couple of flybarless units that don't use it, but in general, that's the one that you're going to use for rudder gain. For aileron gain, we're going to use channel 7. For elevator gain, channel 8. The gains will be adjustable from the gyro sensitivity menu, and later on we'll show how to adjust them through the trim tabs through trim input switches. That will allow you to adjust the gyro gains in flight if desired. And again, that feature is really only for very experienced helicopter pilots. Still in the system menu, we're going to go to the lower left-hand corner where it says channel setting and touch this button. Now in the channel setting menu, you can see each channel, what its function is, what the input is. In this case, for example, channel 1 is throttle, and it's controlled by S3, which is our throttle collective stick. If we go down to channel 5, we can see it's already set. It is the default channel for rudder gain. And then to the right of that, the input, the switch that controls this is switch I. We don't want to use switch I. We want to use the gyro sense menu. So we're going to touch the button which has an I in it. In here, we're in the device select screen. Up the upper left, we have an inhibit button. We're going to touch that. And we're going to hit the back button to return to the channel setting screen. From this screen, we can see that channel 5 is no longer controlled by switch I. It's been inhibited, which is what we want. We're going to skip channel 6, which is pitch, drop down to channel 7, which we want to use for aileron gyro gain. And we're going to touch the aux7 button. Now a smaller window appears. We want to change the default setting of aux down to gyro 2. So we're going to touch the gyro 2 button. We're going to be taken back to channel setting, and now channel 7 controls gyro 2. Now switch F on the transmitter controls this channel. We don't want that. We want to inhibit it because we're going to use the gyro sensitivity menu to control the gyro gain. So we're going to touch the F button. We're going to be back in device select. We're going to touch the inhibit button. That is highlighted. We're going to hit the back key. And once again in channel setting, we see that the switch controlling that function has now been inhibited. We're going to repeat the process for channel 8. Again, it shows auxiliary highlighted. We want it to control the third gyro axis, so we're going to touch gyro 3. Now channel 8 controls gyro 3, but it's controlled by switch O. So we're going to do as we did before, touch the O button, touch the inhibit button, come back, and now all 3 gyro functions are inhibited from having a switch be their inputs. We're now going to press the back button twice and return to the home screen. We're not going to look at it right now, but the GyroSense menu now controls the gains for all 3 gyro axes. And the flight mode switch has automatically been mapped so that it controls the gyro sensitivity menu. In the next video, we're going to inhibit all the unused switches on the transmitter to prevent unwanted interactions. We're going to change the location of the flight mode switch, and we're going to check the new flight mode switch to make sure it's working properly. Thank you.